Federal government assures citizens that infrastructure projects are on course at the midterm ministerial performance retreat. Ahead of the Anambra governorship election, INEC meets chairmen of political parties. Says logistics, no problem. Also on political updates today, Kano APC sends aspirants in state congress for drug tests. All this and more on the program today. I am Fisayo Gufui. Welcome. The federal government is reassuring Nigerians that the second Niger Bridge, Lagos-Ibadan Expressway and other legacy projects under the Presidential Infrastructure Development Fund will be completed and put to use within this second term of the administration. President Buhari gave the assurance at the opening of the two-day midterm ministerial performance review retreat.
The retreat, organized for ministers, permanent secretaries, and top government functionaries, has as its theme enhancing security, fighting corruption, and transforming the economy. Third in the series, the interactive engagement is designed to review the performance of ministers in the execution of programs and projects assigned to them upon appointment in 2019, identify key impediments, and re-strategize on how to accelerate delivery of results given the current economic situation.
This is intended to harness our collective contributions towards generating practicable solutions that will guarantee the level of impact we can be proud of by the end of our tenure.
President Muhammadu Buhari is delighted that the tradition of subjecting government policies and programs to independent and critical self-review has taken firm roots.
These steps have helped to identify and strengthen weak areas, close gaps, as well as build cohesion and synergy in governance to manage the economy and improve the delivery of public goods and services to Nigerians. Ministers are urged to work closely with permanent secretaries to ensure accelerated and effective delivery of the policies, programs, and projects in their respective priority areas. All issues relating to the implementation of the ministerial mandates must be taken seriously towards the attainment of the laudable objectives of our government.
To election matters now, INEC says it is set for the conduct of the November 6 Anambra State governorship election, as all damaged election materials in the state during the several attacks have been replaced. This was at a meeting between INEC chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu and the chairman of political parties.
An aerial view tells the beauty of Anambra State, but unwanted sound was heard on the 23rd of May 2021. Then, on the 3rd of October, another dark day in Oka, Anambra State. DSS, Federal Road Safety Corps, and private home were attacked. A state counting down to an election.
Anambra State is not in the usual election mood.
Truly, not in an election mood. But Mahmood is activating the mood. Met with security agencies 3 days ago. Today, with the political parties. A brief on the efforts to provide safe environment. Then an update on the voters' registration. More than 62,000 double registrations discovered, so they are cancelled. Bringing the total number of voters in Anambra State to more than 2.5 million.
In May this year, our state office in Oka was attacked. I am glad to report that we are fully recovered from that attack. All non-sensitive materials have either been procured afresh or sourced from neighboring states and our zonal stores.
It is remarkable that it be restated that these inimical distractions are perpetrated by non-state actors and criminal elements and not specifically political party candidates or its members.
Efforts to ensure peace for the election and even beyond still central to the Professor Mahmood's agenda.
As the November 6 Anambra governorship election draws closer, the need for all consent to eschew violence has been re-echoed across board. Many believe this is a litmus test for the umpire with its newly introduced bimodal voters accreditation system, BVAS, and the candidates' maturity as well as their political acumen. Joining us now is Dr. Siraju Yakubu, head of Department Public and International Law, Nile University. He's also a political analyst. Doctor, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me to the studio.
Like our reporters there, Mio Gidi, who's not a mere reporter, said, Mahmoud activating the mood. But in terms of, the political climate at the moment, and you as an analyst, what are your expectations for that election, putting into consideration the backdrop, what we've been hearing in terms of the heightened tensions over there?
Yes, I think the environment is charged, but my expectation is that the politicians themselves should calm the atmosphere. In any democratic process, what is more important is the peaceful conduct of the elections. We have to respect the process itself. We should know that violence will damage the credibility of any electoral process. And again, if you look at it critically, we have been having problems recently in the southeast, hoodlums attacking, the INEC offices, which are the critical infrastructure for any conduct of election. But of recent, I think things have been brought under control by the security agencies, like the INEC chairman has been saying. I think things, the atmosphere is good to go now, at least for the elections. So the political parties and their candidates should have to do more. How to do more in terms of, calming down their supporters. Election is not a do-or-die affair. What is important is to produce a credible leader through a free and fair election.
All right, let's now look at some other aspects of these, and that is the issue of even turnout. When you have violence escalating and threats of it, that could discourage the citizens coming out to actually vote en masse, and that may not particularly even reflect the figures. In some experts say when you have voter apathy, it doesn't necessarily reflect what should be the outcome. It's only because people are discouraged from coming out because of some of these stories we see bandied around.
Yeah, of course. When there's threat of violence, people will abstain from voting, and that gives room for electoral manipulations. Because if people are not on the street, if people are not on the not at the polling station to vote, there will be excess of election materials which could be hijacked, and then by anybody, and then rig the election, and that will damage the credibility of the whole process. Because of course, for us to say that the democracy is being deepened, we must respect the democratic norms and principles, and part of the norm is to have a level playing ground for everybody to come and vote the candidates of chosen.
All right, let's move on very quickly, because you touched on a few things, and that is the issue of security. We'll go to Southeast. Now, still on security in the Southeast, former President of the Senate, Ken Namani, has criticized the sit-at-home order allegedly issued by the leadership of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, within the Southeast zone. Senator Namani says the situation is crippling the socio-economic life of the zone.
We Igbos were better off in a united, peaceful Nigeria, where every person will be treated equally. Because we have a lot to benefit. We have a lot of investment across the country. We are the unifying factor in Nigeria, because any corner of Nigeria you go to, you find an Igbo man, an Igbo woman, you find people doing business. And I think such businesses can only thrive if there's peace. And with that peace, we can make progress. Without peace, there will be no progress. And we have a lot to lose because of our investments across the country. So a solid Nigeria, where every person has an equal opportunity to advance to his or her God-given talent, our ambition, to achieve one's ambition in life, can only be done if there's peace, because of what is called sit at home, which I don't understand the rationale, personally. I don't think it makes sense. I think we are punishing ourselves, and we are known for our enterprise. And if we stay at home without being sick, I don't know who we are punishing. We are punishing our families, we are punishing ourselves. I don't think it's a good policy. People should go about their business and be law-abiding. And Nigeria should treat every citizen as equal.
Meanwhile, just coming in, we understand that Senators reversed his decision on the 2010 Electoral Act Amendment Bill passed in July this year. The legislators had passed it with Amendment Clause 52 that transmission of election results can only take place if the Nigerian Communications Commission assured of adequate and secured network coverage and approval of the National Assembly. But now it has reversed its decision that voting at an election and transmission shall be in accordance with the procedure determined by the Electoral Commission, which implies that it's at the discretion of INEC to decide the mode of voting and transmission of results. Now, moving on now, the chairman of the PDP National Convention Organizing Committee and Governor of Adamawa State, Ahmadu Fintri, says it's too early to discuss consensus candidature, even though the party's constitution provides for such a scenario.
This is the first meeting of the PDP Convention Organizing Committee with leaders of the 15 sub-committees ahead of the October 30th and 31st elective convention. The meeting is holding following the ratification of the National Executive Committee's report zoning the PDP chairmanship slot to the north. The chairman of the Convention Organizing Committee says the convention date remains sacrosanct.
INEC is aware, we have written them, and they are duly informed.
The arrangement for a national convention started in August as part of the resolutions to the crisis that led to the removal of the former national chairman of the PDP, Prince Uche Secondus, and the emergence of Elder Yemi Akiwumi as acting national chairman of the party. While that decision has temporarily assuaged the leadership crisis, many party members still believe strongly that the forthcoming convention is a make or mar for PDP's political fortunes. On internal processes, the PDP says it's ready to conduct a free and fair primary election ahead of the Ekiti 2022 governorship election. This was while receiving former governor of the state, Segun Oni, at the party's national secretariat in Abuja.
We guarantee free, fair, and transparent primaries.
We have been here before. It is a familiar path.
In another political development, the People's Redemption Party at a media briefing in Abuja says the party remains strong and is without factions.
This is a certificate of incorporation of PRP, given by INEC, just like it was given to me by Madam Balara Musa.
The party calls on relevant authorities to intensify efforts aimed at solving the nation's security challenges as well as boosting the economy.
We hear that the All Progressives Congress has inaugurated a 9-member National Reconciliation Committee. The party's leadership says the exercise is to further promote peace and stabilize the party.
It is less than 1 week to the conduct of the APC State Congress's schedule to hold on the 16th of October 2021. Governor Memala Buni says, as part of efforts to ensure harmony among party faithful after the conduct of the APC Congresses nationwide, the National Reconciliation Committee was activated to help stabilize the party in case of misunderstandings which may occur during political contest. He urged party faithful to embrace the reconciliation effort as a platform to reunite as members of the progressive family.
The terms of reference of the committee are as follows: to conduct appropriate engagement between identified groups, to to consult with party leaders, submit a report to the National Chairman Caretaker Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee. Your report on resolution of these discrepancies will indicate our readiness as a united and strong family for the National Convention. Your assignment, therefore, has great impact and influence on the convention.
We have to get down to start planning.
Although there is no official time limit within which the committee is expected to deliver its assignment.
Still talking about the APC congresses ahead of the APC state congresses scheduled for October 16. Kano state government says all contestants into executive offices are to be subjected to mandatory drug tests. We caught up with the Kano State Commissioner for Information, Malam Mohammed Garba, to throw some light on this directive.
It's part of the efforts of the administration of Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje to fight against the use of drugs. We were really disturbed when we came on board on 2015, looking at the figure, looking at the statistics where we were at the top, first, second in terms of consumption, especially among our youth. So the governor was really worried, and he did a lot to ensure that we were able to reduce the number. We have a committee that has been going around to ensure that those who are involved in the sales of drugs were arrested. We are checking most of our pharmaceutical companies and that we have within Kano, especially in the metropolitan Kano. And then in order to ensure that we enforce it, we make sure that whoever is going to be a public servant, either by appointment or by election, we came up with a resolution at the State Executive Council that he has to be subjected to drug test. And the issue and the policy implementation started with us in 2019 when we were nominated as commissioners. We all went through drug tests by the NDLEA. One or two of us was found to be guilty, and ultimately he was dropped. That was the fact of the matter. And then the governor went further to implement the policy by subjecting all those who are aspiring as either councillors or local government chairmen to also drug tests by the NDLEA. And quite a number of them, based on the report, some of them, especially from the side of the councillors, were involved. And after the report was presented to His Excellency, they were dropped. So I think this is part of the policy of the governor to ensure that we are able to address the issue of drug abuse in Kano State. And I want to believe that it has got nothing to do with politics. It is a policy, it is a commitment by His Excellency the Governor to ensure that this issue of drugs that is now very rampant, especially among the youth, we're able to control it at the level of state. When we did that of the local government, some of them who were found to be involved actually threatened to go to court. But unfortunately, because they are guilty, they couldn't go actually. So expectedly, of course, people will protest, people will read political meaning to it and what have you. But since we are doing it in the best interest of the state as a policy to ensure that we address and reduce the abuse of drugs in Kano, I think the government is really serious about it. The policy will continue, and by God's grace, as I said, if you look at the statistic as it is now, we are formerly first and second in terms of statistics. Now we are at the middle, descending, which means it is making a very fruitful result as far as we are concerned. So I think the government will continue with the policy.
Lastly, on the home run, pioneer chairman of the EFCC, Nuhu Ribadu, has appealed to relevant authorities to sanction sponsors and peddlers of fake news as part of measures towards building a stronger nation. Ribadu, who spoke to journalists in Abuja, described as fake reports circulating in some sections of the media that he knows the origin of banditry in Nigeria.
I denied completely. I said, this is something pure fabrication that had no basis, no quotation, nowhere I ever granted any interview, nowhere I even had any, whether it was a media interaction or any write-up or any lecture anywhere. So totally fabrication, but indeed very damaging. Let's tolerate one another and let's collectively confront whatever problem or problems we are facing with. Nation building is not a one-day affair. We are bound to face problems, and it is for all of us collectively to do something. My own appeal is that everybody, please understand, nation building is work in progress. It's an ongoing thing.
Right, before we go, Dr. Surajo Yakubu is here. We've talked on so many things. How are we on the level of internal party democracy? Very quickly before we go, as we begin to move on, of course, off-cycle elections are around the block. We have Anambra, we have 2 Ekiti and Osun next year, and of course, heading to the 2023 elections. In terms of internal party democracy and the push and shove of who wants to be what? Very quickly.
Well, I think we are gradually maturing. Especially in terms of, the party internal democracy. It is important that we must respect the wish of the people. We must allow everybody equal opportunity to participate in an election. There shouldn't be any gang up against anyone simply because he represents a very serious threat to others. I think before we can deepen democracy, we first of all must deepen our internal democracy within the party. And I think we can achieve that if we, do away with greed and unnecessary fear. We can do away with it. And if we believe, the politicians believe that they have any value, they don't need to conspire against anybody to, to prevent him from pursuing his ambition.
And of course, the issues of using youths as cannon for election, thuggery and all that. We will continue this conversation because time is not a friend on the program. Many thanks to Dr. Surajo Yakubu for coming. He's the HOD of International Law out there at University of University in Abuja, and of course the Department of Public and International Law. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for watching NTA's Political Update, where we give you political news, reviews, previews, and interviews with a slice of course, touch of the current trend, as well as we look forward to, of course, the coverage of the Anambra governorship election. My name is Fisayo Ogunfui. Thanking you for staying tuned. All the best. Enjoy the rest of your week, and don't forget to play your politics for the greater good. Bye-bye.